Hey there, everybody. It's your girl, Barbie J here, and we are back with Tyler Perry's comedy drama, Sistas, Season 5, Episode 22, Too Little, Too Late. And this, my darlings, is the season finale. That's right. So we have to get ready for Season 6 after this. And God only knows when that's going to come back. Remember what they put us through last year with the changing of the dates of when Season 5 was going to start? Well, we shall soon see. But anyway, this episode starts off with Zach questioning Fatima at her job about Joey and her 9-year-old son. And she says that she doesn't have to tell Zach anything about that. And that was a long time ago. And the way she was acting was like, she was crazy. And Zach is going off like, are you kidding? And then she's like, I don't even like the little bastard. So, and he's like, what's the kid's name? And she's like, Joey Jr. You gave up a Joey Jr.? Zach is like, are you for real? Who are you? He's like, oh, this a joke. You got me, right? You playing, right? And she looked at him like, no, I'm not. She's like, I had to tell you nothing. She said, I didn't know about yours, when yours came. But see, when she said that, the first thing that popped into my head is that, first of all, Zach didn't know about his. He didn't know nothing about no baby. She, on the other hand, is saying she knew she had a child and left it. That's why he was going crazy. So it's a difference, darling. It is a difference. So for her to play that trick on him, because it ended up being a trick, because he didn't think, she was acting like it was no big thing. And then we realized she was like, how did it make you feel? You didn't like it. And he's like, yeah, but he said, you found out about my babies at the same time I found out about them. And he's right. He was right. So sorry, Fatima, but that didn't kind of play the same way. Because yours saying 9 years old and his is like 9 months old. Like he said, he finding out the same time she did. Anyway, then it goes on to Aaron and Jennifer out there arguing in the parking lot and at the salon. And he's yelling for her to go. Just go. And she's calling him John. And the girl smacks him and walks away. And Karen's like, what's going on? And it sounded like the girl was talking in Spanish and stuff and everything. All of this is going on. But you know what I'm thinking? Because Aaron used to, I don't think he mentored people, but what was it he was doing with what's his name? Gary. He was being his, counselor. He was counseling him. So maybe he was counseling this girl and she's a little off or something. And she's thinking he's her ex or something, or one of her boyfriends. And she because he was helping her, sometimes people fall for those ministers and preachers who get close to them and pray for them and pray with them, and they think they in a relationship with them at some point. So that might be what her craziness is, because then he asks Karen to go inside. He'll explain, but not now. He promises he needs to go to the precinct and file a report. So that's my thinking right now, that he is that she was somebody he was trying to help and counsel, and she got a couple of loose screws. But Pam is funny, because Pam is like, you better find out who she is now. And she's like, I got that license plate. When he drove off, she said she got the license plate and everything, and she gonna call her girl at the precinct. And Karen's like, Pam, please, Pam, let it go, Pam. I was like, girl. Pam was like, shoot, Aaron might be fine and crazy. I told you about messing with them fine iggers. She was like, I said, you better tell her, Pam. But I think that's what it is. I really do. And I think the woman is a little cray-cray. And Pam had to remind her, then his ex-wife coming off herself in your salon. And she's like, Pam, don't get mad because she reminded you. You better remember some stuff. So anyway, now we back to Calvin and Maurice. So Calvin comes in and goes straight towards his room. And Maurice says, Calvin, he said, look, I don't want to talk to you. He was like, look, I just want to apologize. I'm sorry. He said, oh, okay. And he was like, no, I really am. I'm sorry. I was mad. He's like, you think? And he started, saying how this guy took all his stuff and everything. And he's like, you forget he took half of my ish too? So he's talking, and Maurice start with he got me drinking out of paper cups. What is a queen without crystal? He sold all my crystal, and he's being all dramatic and funny, and Calvin's like, could you really stop? and to be serious for once. And so Maurice stopped and said, you know what? I'm pissed. I want my stuff back and I'm going to get my car. And Calvin is telling him to leave it alone. But see, I'm with Maurice on this one. I'm going to get my ish. I know what he's saying. He keeps saying, leave it alone. I beat him with a golf club and he still ain't stopped. Just leave him alone and let it go. But no, you can't let it go. He's driving my car around. And if he gets parking tickets and fines, letting it go, the cops ain't gonna care about that. The police ain't gonna care about that. The courts ain't gonna care about that because that's your damn car and you never reported it stolen. So he needs to report it stolen and get it. That's what he needs to do. But, you know, the fact that they have Calvin keep saying, let it go means something going to go down and something's going to happen. But Maurice said, you don't know me very well. He said, I'm not like you, Calvin. I'm not like you. He said, I want him out of my life for good. And like he's saying, he's not going to be out of his life as long as he's driving his car around. He got to pay a car note on that. You think the car note people going to care about that? You know what I mean? He said, I've got a spare set of keys and I'm just going to get it. I got a tracker on it. It's at the airport. I'm just picking it up and that's it. Get my stuff back. And he was like, don't forget, you got caught and all this stuff. You don't want to get in no trouble and get anything. He said, caught? He said, yeah, you keep forgetting that African put that money up for you. And he's like, why you keep calling him that African? Because he said, that's what he is, that African. And he said, you don't want no mess and your bail gets revoked. Okay? Because then Sabrina got, you know, all that. We know what's going to happen behind all of that. So he was like, I'm sorry. I'm not like you. I got to get my stuff back. And honey, I feel the same way. Oh boy. So now we moving on to Gary and Hayden. They get on my nerves. But anyway. So Gary and Hayden, they talking about Robin. It's after 5. I wonder where he is. They just want to know. They excited because they feeling like they win. And Gary's like, this don't feel good. I can't see him giving up this easily. What should we call him? Should we do this? And Hayden's like, nah, what we calling them for? You know, once the shareholders sign this paper, that's it. You know, so Hayden was like, I'm just going to send an email to the shareholders. And Robin is out. After they sign it, at least. So, you know, yeah, he sends the email and Gary's excited and he's like, okay, we won. I won. You know, he was like, and he's like, you want to go out and celebrate? And, you know, they were talking about how they had wanted to see Robin's face when he loses his company and stuff. But they wanted to go celebrate. No, I'm sorry. Gary wanted to go celebrate. Hayden wanted to go to Tamara and get him some. He's like, oh, so that's what it's about? He said, what do you know about this girl? And he's like, I know everything about her inside and out. He was like, I do this. And he's like, you know, once I hit it, they don't quit. You know, once I hit, they don't quit. That's how he said it. I said, Hayden is bugging out. He don't even know. And Gary asked, does he know anything about this woman? And did he vet her? And he's like, yeah, I vetted her. I got my own vetting process. And he said, nah, I ain't vet her. And Gary's like, you sure you want me to look into this Tamara for you? But he's like, nah, I'm good. You crazy, dude. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to look into it for nothing. So Gary's like, okay, fine. So he leaves. He runs into Andy in the hallway, asks, is he going to see her tonight? And she's like, I'll let you know. So he steps away and Fatima come by like, you know, and then she's like, I can't stand him. And Andy's like, I know, you let me know every time you see him. She said, how you and Zach doing? She said, we good. We better than good. And girl, remind me later to tell you the lesson that I taught him. And she's like, he ain't hurt or nothing, right? And she's like, nah, girl, please, he good. So now we have Zach. He shows up at the hair salon to talk to Karen. And Pam told him that she's in a bad mood. You sure? He's like, when isn't she ever in a bad mood? She's like, but no, she's extra bad. You know, Aaron had some girl out there. He's like, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to know nothing about it. And he said, I just need to talk to her. She said, okay, don't get mad if she chew your head off. So Pam told him, and don't go back there messing up the back room, and don't be effing back there either, because either way, I got to clean it up. I said, she's so crazy. Pam needs help. But Pam is a true blue friend. You know, she's like, don't be messing up back there. So she warns him about the mood she's in. And then Zach, you know, goes back there and he tries to apologize to Karen. Karen not trying to hear it. She's letting him know she's not signing those papers and everything. But if she decides to, she'll let him know. She's like, what, you apologizing for the way you acted in that damn restaurant? He's like, yeah. He said, I'm truly sorry. She said, you're not sorry, because if you was ever sorry about anything you did, we wouldn't be in this situation that we're in now. I was like, what is that? Where is that coming from? What does that have to do with anything? So that means she's still caring, and Karen is still caring about him, So he's like, why you being like this? She's like, being like what? She's like, you could leave now. She kept telling him to leave. Do I have to tell you again to leave, And he's like, I was truly trying to apologize. I'm sorry. And she's like, okay, I'm still not signing those papers right now. And he's like, fine. So he leaves, and then Pam comes back there to check on her and asks if Zach upset her or anything. She said, no, I'm good. I'm fine. And she said, and I don't want to even talk about anything that happened today. So Pam says, okay, and lets her know that she has the name of that, that person who the license plate, that she got her person to find out what the girl's name is and stuff. So she's like, fine, but she didn't want it, and then Karen said, what time is it? She's like, 6 o'clock. Oh, shoot, I got to go meet the girls, so she calls Andy to see if she's there. She's like, where's Sabrina? She says Sabrina's probably already at Danny's house. So they hang up saying, see you there. So now this scene is interesting because Danny doesn't take any of this well. They show Sabrina, she comes by and she just walks in and leaves the door open. I said, why she left her door open? And, Danny's like, what are you doing here? She said, oh, I just want to stop by. She said, oh, you call them biatches, didn't you? And they come in the door behind them and saying, yep. And they close the door. And Andy said, we're here, but first they want to drink. But I don't know if they do get drinks. And they just want to talk to her. And she said, we're here because you were sleeping with the enemy. So let's talk about it. And Danny says she was trying to have a hot girl summer, but you bees get more than me. And Sabrina said that they have the same men. And she's like, y'all have the same men now and stuff. But Danny knows she wrong because her and Andy get a lot. But Danny gets random people and brings them to her home. And that's the safety issue that they're concerned about. And she's not trying to hear them. She's feeling attacked. And I don't see where they were really attacking her. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know down in the comment section, but I didn't feel that way. So Danny's like, are you guys here to judge me? And they're like, no, who are we to judge? So Sabrina wants to know why she's behaving this way. And, like I said, she talked about the hot girl summer. And then Andy reminds her that she had an incident with a stranger that she didn't know and ran him over with her car. And a man you didn't know and let into your home. And Danny's sitting there getting defensive, and she keeps turning everything around on them, and then they are, they're really worried about her. I feel that they really are worried about her, but she's not seeing it that way. And they were saying how they know Preston and they like him, but it's okay if she don't want to be with him. And Sabrina's like, oh, he was damn near perfect. She said, oh, I'm going to listen to you about somebody being perfect. Like, how would you know? Like, why would I take advice from you? I was like, wow. Danny just was really not receiving anything from them. They were saying they love her, but she wasn't feeling the love. So Karen decides to say something, and she said, I'm going to say it. And they's like, no. And she said, I'm going to say it. We're here to tell the truth, right? And Danny said, let's hear it. The truth according to Karen. And so Karen says, in college, Danny did a lot of smoking, drinking, and screwing them boys. And she said, you were right along with me. And she said, nope, not like the way you were. And she reminds her of that frat party and what those boys tried to do to her. And Andy said, and it was sad in the aftermath of what folks were saying. And Danny says, I remember, I was there. So Danny says, when a man does this, there is no interventions. Now, just because I'm a woman, there's an intervention. And they're like, if you're going to have, Andy said, if you're going to have a hot girl summer, just have a safe one. That's all we're saying. Just have a safe one. And they're telling her that they're only saying this because they love her. And Andy says she knows that. And Karen says, do you? And Danny's like, Yeah, whatever. I'm not feeling the love. I'll be honest. And she's like, y'all talk to me like I'm a child and like y'all are so damn perfect. And they're like, we're not perfect. We're not saying that at all. Then Danny starts running down all of their stuff about their lives back at them. She goes to Andy and then she goes to Sabrina and then to Karen. And it was just like really ugly because they were like, they're just standing there looking at her like, what are you doing? Are we really doing this? So she's like, it's really rich coming from you guys. She says, Sabrina, you always the victim. And she's like, F you, Andy, and F you, Karen. Now, y'all all can get the F out of my house. I was like, damn, Danny. Y'all all coming to my home attacking me. And they're like, we still love you and we're not leaving you because you're still our sister. And so Danny says then she's leaving. And they said, well, we're going to be here when you get back. And she told them that they better not be. So she leaves out, and when she leaves, they said, well, that didn't go well. I said, you think? But my thing is, how is Danny, when she has something to say and expects them to listen to her, and she comes out of how she's feeling, whether she's right or wrong, she wants them to listen to her stuff, right? Especially in certain situations. And when she high, boy, she have a lot of common sense too, though. So now we have Fatima. She's coming home and she's laughing. She's looking at Zach sitting on the couch mad at her about the trick she played on him. And then Heather comes over and Fatima tells her that Zach wants to talk to her. And she says that she has Heather's like, I have a lawyer. Fatima reminds her that she doesn't. And then Heather says, well, I'm going to get another one. So Fatima said, why don't you just talk to Zach first? So Zach is looking at her all strange, frowning up his face. Heather's like, why he looking at me like that? And Fatima hit him to tell him to stop. So Zach tells her that he had his attorney draw up some papers, a deal or something like that, and that he's willing to pay her $2,000 a month for child support. Heather's like, for real? Like, where do I sign? Zach is like, really? He frowned up his face. Then he asked that he wants to see his son every weekend. She said, fine, you can see him all year. I'll go get him right now. I said, oh, Lord. Zach is like, okay. And Fatima's smiling and tells her to get a lawyer to look over the papers before signing because she wanted to sign it. She said, no, look it over and then bring him back to us. And if he tells you that you can get more, then she won't get ish. And she was like, oh, okay. So then Zach tells Fatima that he spoke with Karen and that she's not going to sign those papers. And Fatima said that she knew she wouldn't. Zach said that he's sorry. And Fatima said, hey, that's life. She said, at least my baby daddy wasn't real. Zach said, I wish my baby mamas weren't real. I said, I know he do. Talk about he going to need a bigger house. He got to get ready for the kids, And then we have Preston. He's calling Danny and she says, what do you want, Preston? And I was like, damn, she got all this attitude because she mad. And he says to get my stuff that I left at your house. And she was like, she feels that he did it on purpose so that he could have a reason to come over to buy and to bother her. And he said that he didn't do it for that. He didn't do that. He didn't, I'm like, why didn't you take your stuff way before, dude? So he said he's just going to get his stuff and walk away. And she said, how about if I just leave your stuff in a box by the front door? And he tells her, what's with all the attitude? It's getting real old, Danny. And she says, whatever. She said, I don't care. She said, she tells him goodbye and hangs up. He's like, Danny. And she's like, gone. And then it ends with Maurice meeting up with Q at the airport to get his car keys. Because it seems that the spare key that Maurice had in his apartment, Q took. And of course, Q would have had to take it because if you remember, Maurice and Sabrina was arrested at work. So their cars should actually both be at the bank parking lot. They should have been left there, so either they should have had their car keys somewhere in the bank or on their persons when they were arrested by Logan, right? So anyway, Maurice wants his keys. Q is telling him to come and get it. And he said, I'll beat your ass or something like that. Maurice was saying, he said, no, before you beat me up because I wasn't ready for you, but I got something for you now. And he said, what you got? And he pulls out a gun from behind his pants. And I'm sitting there going, how is he walking around with an ankle monitor and he has a gun on his person working in the airport? How is he working in the airport and have a gun? Where is he hiding it? How is he getting it past the metal detectors at work? This is not making any sense, Tyler Perry. But anyway, so they start tussling and fighting for the keys. He's trying to get the keys or put the gun down or push the gun down or whatever. And we know the gunshot is gonna go off. So now that's supposed to be, the cliffhanger. We figuring out who got shot, Q or Maurice. So that's how it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. I mean, it wasn't a great season finale, if you ask me. It was okay. It was okay. It was interesting. I really enjoyed that scene with the sister circle meeting, trying to talk to her, because they really, she really ran over them. She gave them the business. That's what Danny did. And they really were coming out of love. I don't think they were trying to judge. Y'all let me know, like I said, down in the comment section, but that's how it went down. So this your girl Barbie J saying, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.